What is up, everyone? Welcome to another YouTube video. If you do not know, my name is Owen LeBay. I'm 21 years old and I am an online fitness coach as well as a bodybuilder. And specifically going off of the bodybuilder aspect, this video is going to cover how you can gain muscle if you are at the point in your physique where it is time to build that muscle, be more confident in your body, and just look crazy and feel better. Honestly, just feeling better is what we all want in the end of the day. I used to be overweight, as if you haven't seen, I'll put a photo right here. That is what I looked like when I very first started my fitness journey, but within 6 months, I was able to get to this point. When I was skinny, looking like that, I did have some muscle definition, but you know what? I fell in love with the gym, and it was time to actually learn how to build onto my frame. If you're in a similar position, this video is perfect for you. It all started with learning how to eat right. Obviously, coming from someone who was overeating pretty much their entire life, it was tough for me to get to the point of eating more food again because I was now scared of it. Once I was that skinnier frame and I had a little bit of muscle, I at least understood how to work out a little bit, but the diet side of it was really the one that set me back and caused me to have a ton of issues when it comes to gaining muscle. So that is the first portion of this video, is how did I dial in that nutrition and figure out what was needed, what was necessary, what was unnecessary towards gaining muscle. Now, if you are into fitness at all, or you have done a little bit of research into it, as I'm sure you might have, because your goal is to gain muscle, you might have heard people say, dirty bulk, you need to dirty bulk, or you need to lean bulk. Now, these words are super fancy and it's easy to get lost in what they actually mean. In my personal opinion, a dirty bulk is essentially eating very high above the calories you should, and it typically involves using fast foods or not clean sources of food to get to the calorie surplus that you are looking for. So I have done that before. I'm gonna be honest. I've done what some would call a dirty bulk before, and it led to me looking like this. That is what I looked like about a year after I looked skinny. Now, if that's something you want, then that's something you can pursue. But it didn't help me gain muscle. In the end of the day, I was no bigger than I was when I started. So it didn't work. And why didn't it work? There's a million different opinions out there. The main one being that it's because you weren't eating clean. Your body naturally processes cleaner foods and handles it better towards recovery and building your muscles when you're working out. So when you're working out, you're tearing down your muscle essentially, and then when you recover, you're trying to tell your muscles to build back a little bit better, a little bit stronger. But when your diet consists of going out to McDonald's every single day or eating a pint of Ben & Jerry's to get to your calorie mark, your muscles don't want to grow because you're not fueling it with what it needs to be fueled with. And that is kind of the main piece of it, is why a dirty bulk doesn't work, because you're not fueling your body properly. Now, another thing I mentioned was a lean bulk. This is what some consider the safest route because you're not going to get fat. Essentially, you're eating very slightly above the amount of calories that you would stay at the same weight at. And we're talking very slight. I've also done that. And what I've found is you don't gain muscle from that. It takes years and years and years to gain muscle from something in that form. If you're only eating 100 or 200 calories above your maintenance, then it's going to take a long time of working out and being very specific with your diet and sleeping properly. There's a lot of factors. in order to even see a slight amount of muscle growth. Whereas I've been able to do different things, I've been able to try different diets, and yet I've gained a very considerable amount of muscle in the few years that I've been doing this. There are some people I know personally that have been working out for 10 plus years and they haven't put on the muscle that I have, even though that's their goal. And so that's what this video is supposed to do. It's supposed to inform you a little bit on how I structure my own diet and what you shouldn't do when it comes to dieting for muscle growth. So next thing is the working out. There are a million different ways to work out. I've heard everything under the moon when it comes to working out. And the thing that you'll commonly hear is either upper or lower, where you work out all your upper body parts and then the next day you work out all your lower body parts. And then you kind of repeat that cycle. I am extremely not a fan of this structure. I think it is probably, in terms of muscle growth, very inefficient. Now, from the work I've done with it, from the clients I've had that did it, it tends to be better at making you a little bit stronger, because you know what? Your muscles have too much recovery. That's the idea, is when you have too much recovery for a muscle group like chest or back, you get stronger because you haven't done it in so long. But that's not the goal we're here for. We are here for muscle growth. We are here for people to look at us and be like, wow, oh my gosh, that is crazy. Look at how big his bicep is, or look at his abs. That is what we are here for. We are not here to lift super duper heavy to the point where it's like the only people in the gym that know you can lift heavy are the ones that watch you. I want to live my life having people see me in person and be like, wow, he must work out. That's the goal that I know a lot of us want. And if that's what you want, then continue watching this video. In terms of my personal structure for my workout, when I first started, I started out on a push-pull leg split, which is a very common split. It's a great way for beginners to understand and learn how to work out and how to structure their workouts a little bit better. It is very informative. It kind of allows you to learn how to use different machines, do different workouts, and get that volume and that frequency that is conducive with muscle growth. But it's not the best way. As you gain experience, things change. Everyone's body is a little different. I personally know friends of mine that gain more muscle on specific lifts, whereas I gain muscle on other lifts. For example, I'll put in these two photos. This one is my back about when I first started, kind of like I showed you earlier, and this is my back now. My back and my genetics, some would say, are very conducive with growing my back, growing muscle on my back. But other people just can't do it, even if they're working out the exact same way as me. And so that's the whole importance of learning how to structure your workouts, is if you want that muscle growth, you have to structure your workouts that are tailored for you. And it can be hard to kind of realize what that is at first, but that's why I'm here. That's why I got into fitness coaching, is to kind of solve these problems for you guys before you guys run into the issues I did. I ran into plenty of issues when it comes to training. There was a year or two on end that I probably wasn't seeing the progress that I could have if I was working out for my body. And so if you want to gain muscle, follow some of those tips, or reach out to me, and feel free to reach out with any questions you might have. I'd be more than happy to help you guys out with some resources, but that's the gist of it. We all want to gain muscle. We all want to just look better and feel better in our lives. You walk around with so much more confidence when you build that muscle, when you build the physique that people look at you and say, oh my gosh, he looks awesome. He looks like he lifts a ton. That's the goal. Even though it might feel selfish, it might seem selfish when I talk about that, it's not. Because in the end of the day, it has saved my life, it has changed my life, and there's not a single thing I would take back when it comes to working out. I have changed my life with working out, and I am confident that you can change your life too. So if any of this video resonates you, feel free to implement any of the tips I gave or reach out to me, and I'd be more than happy to give you some more resources.